This week we're talking peace, love, and unity, so stick around, we all need a little bit more. Welcome to Charlie's Open Mic. My name is Charlie Mosbrook. On this week's show, we have Carlos Jones. He's one of the biggest acts in Cleveland. He's a reggae musician. We're going to talk about peace, love, and unity. We're going to talk about his music. We're going to talk about all kinds of good stuff. But first, we're going to listen to him play. So here's a little reggae.
Now is the time for all good people to come together. Now is the time for I and I to love each other, because there's too much wickedness raining from high places. Too many vultures with smiles on their faces. Now is the time. Now is the time. Oh well, yeah. What we can do to build a positive vibration, to build up our consciousness, to build up our endurance. We got to build up our determination so we can go the distance and fight down Babylon and form a resistance. We got to move up, walk the righteous path. My brothers and sisters, we got to treat each other with love and kindness and not discrimination. We got to be the opposite of this negativity. We got to be the opposite of this hatred and bigotry. Peace, love, and understanding need to have more harmony and more compassion for each other. We can't let the negative destroy our society. Ooh, how long do I have to tell you? We need peace, love, and unity. There's so much work to do now, yeah. We got to be together. We got to love each other. We got to be together. We got to love each other. I have a dream that one day people of all nations could live in harmony. Yeah. Say we the people got to realize that it's not just some pretty words we roll out for the occasion. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal. I have a dream that one day all our children will live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. You got to let freedom ring from every mountainside, from every hilltop and valley. Yeah. So let freedom ring from every village, every hamlet, from every state and every city. And when we let freedom ring, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, every race and denomination, will be able to join hands and sing together. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last. Right now, right now, right now, right now. Now is the time. Now is the time. Right now. Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Carlos Jones.
Hey, Charlie, how you doing, man? Thanks for
I'm
having me.
well. I'm well. It's been a strange week, but I'm doing all right.
That it has, yeah. Had we been doing this yesterday when we originally planned it, it would have been a whole different conversation, right?
Yeah, I think we would have been a bit distracted by the events going on the in the Capitol. We move forward, and democracy marches on, and
That it does. Yeah, I
hopefully,
stayed up until about 4 a.m. just watching the House and the Senate just to see what was happening. Yeah,
make
I
sure
don't
they
think I've
got it
ever
done.
done that, and
Yeah.
I watched it all unfold.
Anyway, let's talk about you. You are really the dominant reggae force in Northeast Ohio, and as far back as I can remember, you have been. Although prior to my knowledge of the reggae scene, there was ITAL, where Dave Schmeltz was kind of the leader. And was he sort of your mentor back then?
Absolutely, yeah. I first met Dave when he was leading up the band Ital. This was summer of '78. Saw him at the Coach House and just fell in love with the band, started following him around. And he also worked at Record Rev down on Coventry.
Hmm.
And that's how I kind of, moved into the Coventry scene. And he was definitely very much a mentor. And by watching him is how I got my legs.
Now, when you played with ITAL, were you primarily a guitarist or a percussionist?
Not at all. I was just percussionist, and I wasn't even singing at that point. I was just playing percussion and dancing next to George Gordon.
And George is still with you, isn't he?
His George is still
That's
still
awesome.
there, man.
It's a delight to see him and his warm smile. Were you instrumental in forming First Light, or was that something that you were invited into?
Yeah, the Chopper, Mike Wasson, yes,
Hmm.
Chopper. Yeah, he and I and four other members of ITAL split off and started First Light. This was the beginning of 1984.
That band did pretty well for itself.
Yeah, as far as local bands go, we traveled quite a bit, played a lot of college towns, and developed a pretty large and loyal following, and it's a lot of fun. Made a lot of friends and had a lot of adventures out on the road.
And in the middle of that, you were starting to rethink what you wanted to do. You want to take us through that thought process when you decided to step away from First Light, who was big at that moment, and start to dig into your roots.
Like any band that's trying to make it, we were really being pushed to try and grab that golden ring and get a record deal and all that kind of stuff. And we were recording, little independent releases. And as everyone knows, the older we got as a band, the more we started to branch out in our sound. As far as reggae was always kind of like the foundation, the basis, but we also had all of these different ingredients of rock and blues and soul and jazz, and we were very much a hybrid band. The further we got, I just found myself really missing the spirit of that roots reggae music that first drew me in. I just kind of wanted to recapture that and not focus so much on trying to make it in the industry as much as just find that joy in the music again. About 98 is when I decided, actually decided a couple years before that to form the Plus, what became the Plus Band. It was just a
Mhm.
four-piece acoustic group, just doing simple reggae music. And so I had both bands going at the same time. But by '98, I decided that it was time to step away from First Light and focus 100% of my energy on the Plus Band.
So speaking of those roots, what were your early roots? I mean, we talked about Ital a little bit, but what drew you to reggae in general?
My first musical influence was really gospel music in the church, because my grandfather was a minister, and his father before him. And so we were very much in the Southern Baptist church, and that's the music I first grew up hearing. In the mid 60s, we moved to Germany. The only record album I had to my name was a Beatles album. I was one of those kids sitting in front of a black and white TV watching the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, and that just totally just turned my head around. And so I wanted to be a Beatle. And then for those 2, 3 years we lived in Germany, we didn't really have TV. So I just listened to whatever was on the radio, and it was stuff that my parents listened to. So it was, jazz and blues and just kind of adult contemporary, Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, big band stuff. That laid the foundation for my musical taste, just kind of like all over the place. When we came back to the States, then it was all about the soul music, Motown, Memphis sound, Atlantic, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, Temptations, Jackson 5. I mean, I was all over that stuff. And it wasn't until late 60s, early 70s that I even started to hear any kind of reggae. And you remember Johnny Nash, who just passed, he was doing some of Marley's tunes, Stir It Up and Guava Jelly, and I Can See Clearly Now. And so that was my first little taste of it. Then, of course, I heard Eric Clapton's I Shot the Sheriff before I heard Marley's version. Once I heard Marley, it was all over. I was like, wow, what is this? And I had always been interested in the drums.
Mm-hmm.
I was always percussionist drummer type person. And when I heard that beat, it just really intrigued me. And I wanted to find out what it was about that beat that was so different. So that's how I went into it, just kind of investigating the rhythm of it. And then once I really started listening to what was being said and hearing the, spiritual and cultural context of what was going on in the music, that really grabbed me intellectually. And it really kind of connected with the music, the gospel music, that same spirit of the gospel music that I listened to as a kid, and Positive Vibration and One Love. And there was a lot of the same kind of messages coming through. And so that just kind of pulled me in. And I also find that there's a lot of commonality with, folk music, which I'm a big fan of. I love acoustic music. That's really why I've always called reggae music folk music, just from different folks.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
The rhythm was what led me into really catching on to the reggae music. Then when I heard Positive Vibration, that really clicked with something that my parents always emphasized, was just, power of positivity. When I actually got to see Bob Marley perform live in 78 at Music Hall, that was just like turning on a light switch. And I just, what I felt that day, I just knew that was what I wanted to feel for the rest of my life, however I could accomplish that. And I just it just so happened that same summer, I discovered Ital playing at the Coach House, and it just kind of snowballed. I started following them around like a stray dog until they couldn't get rid of me, and I just ended up in the band.
You've had a few young guys sort of attach themselves to you too over the years who've
Yeah.
done that. Any that come to mind who've really blossomed in ways that you think are special?
Well, do you know Kurt Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's also a percussionist, and he used to always hang around with First Light, and I just seen this young kid at Peabody's. Eventually, he started filling in for Will Douglas, who was with the Robbers and Janglers originally. And so he started playing drums with me, and then went on percussion. So he's still with me on percussion.
What kind of contact have you had with the band since the pandemic began?
I've done a few collaborative things with Peter via, the cyber
Peter's the keyboard
Yeah,
player?
the keyboard player. Yeah, he's really one of the founders of the Plus Band with me. I started from day one back in '93. And we have a band page. We have a Facebook group that's a private band page where we keep in touch with each other and talk back and forth and just kind of keep track of what we're doing. And Max, our newest member, he's our drummer,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a home studio. So we're planning on collaborating on some things remotely. We've had the opportunity to do some virtual shows. We did one from Brothers. We did back in the summertime one out in a parking lot in conjunction with Kathy at the Grog Shop, where there was a limited amount of people able to come in and have a space in the lot. So that was the first live audience we played for since the pandemic hit. And that worked out kind of cool, but it was still nerve wracking and just really unfamiliar ground because our shows are so much about interaction and inclusivity and just being together with people, and to have people spaced out and to feel that kind of like anxiety about someone coming too close, that just didn't feel too
Mm-hmm.
good. Just before Thanksgiving, a couple of the guys tested positive, and so we just decided to, at that point, to just kind of put the brakes on getting together until this thing dies down a little bit.
Let's talk about the message more, the reggae message that drew you in, and the positivity, and what how you are taking that message forward, and how you see that message connecting to the moment that we're in history.
Yeah, well, people are people, throughout geographical location, throughout time, through generations, and basically we're the same. What really stands out to me is that commonality that we have. We all have a heart, we all have a heartbeat, and reggae is founded on the heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
That rhythm, that's what's under there. That's under the foundation of reggae. It's the heartbeat, and that is a rhythm that unifies us. And I've seen it so many times that people of all backgrounds, religious beliefs, ethnicities, at our shows just coming together, young, old, black, white, it doesn't matter. Everybody just feeling that vibration that's coming from the heart. And so that is what really brought it all together for me. Just, peace, love, and unity. Unity being one. When Rastafarians say I and I, it means and I, meaning no separation. We're one and the same. Unified with each other, with our Creator, with the earth. Just that whole oneness. So that's what really that philosophy is really what I just gravitate towards and put forward in the songs that I write and the music I play. I do a lot of covers. A
Mm-hmm.
good song is a good song.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the things that I write, the things that I think about are those things that experiences we all share.
And of course, that peace, love, unity syndicate is where the Plus Band gets its name.
Right,
You've
right. And
you've
let me
brought
tell you an
that.
interesting story about that, how I came up with that name, because I wrote Peace, Love, and Unity. I wrote the song Peace, Love, and Unity back when I was with Ital. And it wasn't until many years later with First Light that one day we were on the road somewhere and I was listening to a Prince record. And on the record, there was a song called Positivity. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm into that. And I'm listening to the song, and he's going, Positivity, have you had your plus sign today? And I'm just like, wait a minute, plus, peace, love, unity, syndicate, that's us.
The half moon above me, and loneliness behind each door. And something deep inside of me, it's telling me that I want more. There's something in the water, there's something in the sand, there's something in the air we all breathe, and something in the land. And from this, I feed my soul again. 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 The towers rise above me, they soon will turn to sand. Power that confronts us all here, it falls between our heads. There's something in the water, there's something in the sand, there's something in the air we all breathe, and something in the land. And from this, I feed my soul again. 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 That it is so cold and it's time for me to rest. And dip beneath the waters as I am, I'm forced to confess. And that there's something in the water, there's something in the sand, something in the air we all breathe, and something in the land. And from this, I feed my soul again. 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 Hey, thank you for watching Charlie's Open Mic this week, and thank you to Carlos Jones for sharing his music, his story, and his positive vibrations with us. We could all use that right now. And please hit that subscription link down below. Please ring the bell for notifications of upcoming episodes. Always comment down below, click like, and you can find us at charliesopenmic.com, where you can find a Patreon link to help support the show. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.